Week 5 is officially in the books, and it was a roller coaster of emotions for whatever team you follow, for your fantasy leagues. It was a crazy Week 5, and it's only going to get better. Guys, a couple reminders I wanted to say. Bye weeks do start in Week 6, okay? The Lions, the Texans, the Raiders, and the Titans, okay? So 4 teams on bye. Once again, Lions, Texans, Raiders, Titans. So that's Jared Goff, Derek Carr, Swift, Amondre, TJ Hawkinson, Dameon Pierce, Brandon Cooks, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Roberto Woods, Derrick Henry. So make sure you get those guys out of your lineup and deep dive into the waiver wires. We like to give you our top 10 waiver wire picks as always as we go through each and every week. There's still hope. Zach likes to say this all the time. He was 1-7 once, and he came back and he made it all the way to the finals. I'm not sure if he won. I'm pretty sure he either won or he came second, but he was 1-7 and turned it around. There is still hope. So don't just drop your team if you're 0-5 or you're 1-4, whatever the case may be. Keep going, keep digging, find the grit. Just like the Detroit Lions, you got to find the grit, even though they lost this week. But let's get straight into the waiver wires for this week. And at number 10 from the Thursday night game, let's go to Latavius Murray. He technically did not play, but what happened was that he played in London on the London game last week with the New Orleans Saints. Then he gets traded or signed to the Denver Broncos when Javonte Williams goes down. And now Latavius is on this team, and he was inactive for Denver Colts game, which was on Thursday night. But I do see him having a significant role as the season progresses. Melvin has been struggling. Mike Boom, I don't think we can really trust Mike Boom, man. We've seen Latavius. Latavius kind of doing his thing. He's available in 72% of leagues. The next 2 games is the Seahawks and Chargers. Is he going to be somebody that's going to be reliable week in and week out? No. But if you have bye weeks like this week, if you have injuries like we all have, then maybe Latavius Murray could be a good fill-in flex or a desperation play in deeper leagues, okay? When we get to this point of the season, some of these guys are going to be desperation plays because we just don't, bye weeks happen, people are injured, and you just got to close your eyes and throw somebody in the lineup. So go and grab Latavius Murray if you can. And at number 9, let's go to my beloved New York Football Giants, who are 4-1, by the way, Daniel Bellinger. And this is not amazing, it's not sexy, but he is available in 95% of leagues. And if you have bye weeks, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, all these guys that are on bye weeks, Daniel Bellinger could be a guy that you can pick up depending on how deep your leagues are. This past week, he caught 2 out of 3 targets. He did score a touchdown. He had 10 fantasy points, but the week before, 5. In week 4, week 3 he had 8, week 2 he had 8, and with all the injuries with Wandale, Kadarius, Kenny G, all these guys getting hurt, Daniel Bellinger has been used. He may not get all the targets, but he's getting used in the red zone opportunities. He's getting used in jet sweeps that are getting creative, and he's going to progress and progress and progress. This is a very good, hey, just put him on your bench, see what happens, a flyer tight end position, if you will. So pick up Daniel Bellinger. Don't spend any fab. Once again, available in 95% of leagues if you do need a guy for the tight end position in week 6. And on number 8, let's stay with the tight end position with Hayden Hurst, available in 62% of leagues. He did his thing. This Sunday night football game, caught 6 out of 7 targets, 17 fantasy points. He was going against his former team with the Baltimore Ravens. T. Higgins was a little bit dinged up, and he's been getting injured a lot lately, and he's been missing some time, and Hayden Hurst has been stepping up. So if you need a good tight end, fill-in for, once again, waiver wires, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, or whatever teams that are going on waiver wires in the weeks to come, maybe you can play this in advance, pick him up now, and put him on your team. Let me remind you as well, in week 4, caught 3 out of 4 targets, 27 yards and a touchdown, over 11 fantasy points. So he's been consistent for the past 2 weeks. Is this a guy that's going to be a home run? This is not your Travis Kelce's or your Mark Andrews. This is a guy that's going to get you a minimum 8, so maybe hopefully 12 points a week, if that is the case. So pick him up. He's playing the Saints and then Atlanta in the next 2 games. So if you do have bye weeks coming up, make accommodations for Hayden Hurst. And at number 7, let's go to the quarterback position. Give me Geno Smith. Available in 53% of leagues. He's playing the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Chargers. Once again, the bye weeks are coming up really fast. Once again, this week, Derek Carr, Jared Goff, Ryan Tannehill, Davis Mills. If you're in a super flex league, maybe in a one quarterback league and your superstar quarterback is struggling, for example, Russell Wilson, maybe Geno Smith could be a guy we should be considering to start over someone like Russell Wilson, which is crazy to say. We have a saying here saying keep it simple, stupid, KISS, KISS, and start your stars. And Russell Wilson technically is your star quarterback, but he hasn't been performing there. So look, we can answer all your start sit questions at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. But I think Geno Smith is a fantastic pickup coming into week 6 of the fantasy football season. And at number 6, a guy that's not as available in many leagues, but I think is really, really extremely valuable, especially with all these guys that are injured, like a Keenan Allen, all your top guys that have been underperforming, a T. Higgins who has been injured for the past couple games. Jacoby Myers, available in 38% of leagues. So he's available in the majority percent of leagues. But the point is that I want to make here is the targets that he's getting. Week 1, 6 targets. Week 2, 13 targets. He didn't miss weeks 3 and 4 with an injury, but week 5, 8 targets. And that's with Bailey Zappi, third string quarterback, a rookie quarterback. Brian Hoyer's injured. Mac Jones is injured. Week 1 and 2 was with Mac Jones, scored over 10 fantasy points in each game. Week 5, once again, with a third string quarterback, over 24 fantasy points. He's going to be hyper targeted. This is a team that was up early against the Detroit Lions as well in week 5. And I hope that continues moving forward. If you guys need a flex option, once again, Keenan Allen has been now, T. Higgins has been up and down. There's so many question marks, especially with injuries are going to be piling up and bye weeks that are going to be piling up. Brandon Cooks is going to be on a bye. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith. If you are in a league where Jacoby Myers is still available, I won't be hesitating to pick him up. Once again, 38% of leagues, he's playing the Browns and then the Bears. Pick up Jacoby Myers. And at number 5, let's go to Tampa Bay with Rachaad White. Available in 54% of leagues. Look, even though Rachaad White may not be a startable asset right now, but if Lenny does go down, if we continue to see this uptick each and every week with Rachaad White, he could be a startable asset, maybe in a flex option, or if somebody's on a bye. Week 4, caught 5 out of 5 targets with 50 yards, has over 13 fantasy points. Week 5, a little bit less, caught 3 out of 4 targets with 28 yards, over 7 fantasy points. He's getting more and more work week in and week out. And like I said before, if Lenny does go down, then Rachaad White will be the next guy up. And we saw that with Ronald Jones last year and, Giovanni Bernard last year. So, hey, if you can get Rachaad White, once again, available in 54% of leagues, I would be picking him up, not starting him, maybe in a desperation situation. Let's say one of your star running backs is out on a bye or is hurt. Damian Harris just went down. Rashad Penny just went down, and you need a desperation play. Rachaad White could be a desperation play. He's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers and then the Carolina Panthers in the next 2 weeks. So go and try and get Rachaad White. And at number 4, a guy that we said you should trade for, a guy that was on the waiver wire last week, Brian Robinson, still available in some leagues, 36% of leagues, which is not that much. But if you are a league out there that has Brian Robinson, or even potentially you can trade for him, I will be trying to trade for him right now. They're playing the Chicago Bears on Thursday Night Football. And the history with Thursday Night Football, for this year so far, has been atrocious. It's been absolutely terrible. But with Brian Robinson long term, I think this could be very, very special. He was on a snap count. He only had 20 carries this game, and he looked good coming back. Right? Did they get him in space? Did the Titans stuff him behind the line at times? Absolutely. But he looked good. He looked like he was the guy moving forward. He had to get all the, this was his first NFL game. He had to get his first NFL game off of him. And with all the injury, the adversity that he went through, I do believe Brian Robinson in the next coming weeks could be the talk of the town, could be a top 20 running back. And if you can go get him, once again, available in 36% of leagues. So if you're one of those leagues, in a 14-man league, and he's available, or you didn't have an IR, or somebody doesn't want to start him, or someone just dropped him, or even trade for him, I will be picking up Brian Robinson right now, and I will be starting him going into week 6. Once again, playing the Chicago Bears on Thursday night, and Chicago Bears have been really bad in the run game. So I will be picking up Brian Robinson. And at number 3, let's go to the Thursday night game. Let's go to the wide receiver 2 on this team, Alec Pierce for the Indianapolis Colts, who's available in 80% of leagues. Shout out to Zach, because we do have a Dynasty channel, and he was a buy low in a Dynasty perspective. Check out that channel in the link in the description below. But Alec Pierce, Thursday night performance, great performance, 8 receptions, 9 targets, 81 yards, over 15 fantasy points. They need to get him the workload. We said one of the strongest hands in the 2022 NFL draft class, in the wide receiver room specifically. He is great. Go watch his highlight film or his film in Cincinnati. This is where he came out of, and he's a great, and we saw that, for example, in the Thursday night game versus the Denver Broncos, where he just snagged the ball out there. Strong hands, really hard to get down. Look, Alec Pierce is fantastic. If you can get him, once again, in deeper leagues or in leagues where you have bye weeks or struggling with injuries, Alec Pierce could be a good flex option moving forward into week 6. I also had a bold prediction of him, saying that he could, this was a bold prediction season before the season started, but he could outscore Michael Pittman, finish higher than Michael Pittman in fantasy perspective, and have more touchdowns than Michael Pittman. So still kind of on pace, still a lot of football to be played, but anything can happen. Go and try and get Alec Pierce. And at number 2, we have Eno Benjamin for the Arizona Cardinals, available in 84% of leagues right now. James Conner went out with a rib injury, and like I always said in the offseason, it's not if, it's when James Conner went down, and this was an example, and he was injured the past couple games as well, and playing with some injuries. Darrell Williams went out with a knee injury, which was also unfortunate, so Eno Benjamin was the next man up. 8 carries, 25 yards, and a touchdown. He caught 3 out of 4 passes for 28 yards, had over 14 fantasy points. If Conner and Williams misses some time, Eno is going to be the next guy up. Maybe they're going to have to sign somebody, in free agency, or, off the waiver wires, whatever the case may be. Maybe they have to elevate somebody from their practice squad, but Eno Benjamin could see a significant uptick in workload. They play the Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints in the next 2 weeks. If you need a running back, Eno Benjamin could be a guy low end, potentially RB2, high end RB3 maybe, or even a flex position, depending on if James Conner and Darrell Williams is going to miss some time. But I would be picking him up, take him as a handcuff, whatever the case may be. He has looked good in space. He's doing his thing. Once again, available in 84% of leagues, so pick up Eno Benjamin. And at number 1, this should be no surprise to anyone. It is Ken Walker, the real estate agent, or Ken from State Farm, however you want to say it. We have a little saying in the chat with our followers. He's available in 41% of leagues right now. It's unfortunate that Rashad Penny did go down. He did break his leg, and I hate to say this because I was saying it's not if, it's when Rashad Penny gets hurt as well, because his history was like him pulling a hammy or him rolling his ankle or something happening. Wasn't expecting him to break a leg. So shout out to Rashad Penny. Hopefully he gets healthy soon. Ken Walker, once again, available in 41% of leagues. Carried the ball 8 times, 88 yards, and a touchdown, had over 14 fantasy points. This is what we expect from Ken Walker when he stepped up, when he gets the workload. I think he's going to continue to evolve. He's playing the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Chargers in the next 2 weeks, and it just continues to get better. The Giants, he plays the Cardinals again. Tampa Bay will be a rough game, but look, I think he might be a good starting asset moving forward. I'm spending all of my fab if he is available on waiver wires. He's available in 41% of leagues and sleeper leagues. So pick him up, see what happens, and start him with confidence. You kind of have to. So guys, these are my 10 waiver wire pickups for week 6. Some honorable mentions before I go for the video. And Zach Wilson, available in 74% of leagues, doing his thing. Last week, 22 points. This week, 14 points. It's okay. Evan Ingram, available in 74% of leagues. 6 receptions for 10 targets, over 12 fantasy points. Something special can happen there. Let's see if he can continue to get some workload. Rondale Moore, available in 62% of leagues, coming back from that injury. Caught 7 out of 8 targets. This may be a 1-week pickup because DeAndre Hopkins is coming back in week 7 after the bye week, if I'm not mistaken, in week 7. So I will be looking out for that and be careful. But this might be a 1-week rental. And then Darius Slayton, who the hell is the wide receiver 1 there? Wan'Dale Robinson? We'll know when he comes back. We don't know. Kadarius Toney, we don't know when he comes back. Kenny G, we don't know when he comes back. So Darius Slayton, I would say pick him up, ride the wave. I won't start him maybe in situations. But guys, these are my honorable mentions. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. We go live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday night to answer all of your start sit questions. And once again, there's still time. Zach was 1-7 and he went all the way to the playoffs. You might be 0-5, you might be 1-4, whatever the case may be. Still plenty of time in week 6. Let's make some move, make some trades, be active in the waiver wires, and good luck in week 6.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.